weekly dose of politics,
snark, and heavy metal music.
All rise,
for your hosts, Brandon
and Matt.
I belong.
Performer hasn't been provided with a script. As a matter of fact, I have been permitted to choose my own words and discuss my own ideas regarding the choice that we face in the next few weeks. I have spent most of my life as a Democrat. I recently have seen fit to follow another course.
The defense policy of the United States is based on a simple premise. The United States does not start fights. We will never be an aggressor.
As for the peace that we would preserve, I wonder who among us would like to approach the wife or mother whose husband or son has died in South Vietnam and ask them if they think this is a peace that should be maintained indefinitely. There can be no real peace while one American is dying someplace in the world for the rest of us. We're at war with the most dangerous enemy that has ever faced mankind in his long climb from the swamp to the stars. And it's been said if we lose that war, and in so doing lose this way of freedom of ours, history will record with the greatest astonishment that those who had the most to lose did the least to prevent its happening. Well, I think it's time we ask ourselves if we still know the freedoms that were intended for us by the founding fathers.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. You and I must protect and preserve freedom here, or it will not be passed on to our children, and it will disappear everywhere in the world.
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. And this idea that government is beholden to the people, that it has no other source of power except the sovereign people, is still the newest and the most unique idea in all the long history of man's relation to man. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves. Regardless of their sincerity, their humanitarian motives, those who would trade our freedom for security have embarked on this downward course. They knew that governments don't control things. A government can't control the economy without controlling people. And they know when a government sets out to do that, it must use force and coercion to achieve its purpose.
We, the people. We, the people, tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We, the people, are the driver. The government is the car. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do.
This administration in Washington has betrayed the working men and women of this country.
I hope we have once again reminded people that man is not free unless government is limited. There's a clear cause and effect here that is as neat and predictable as a law of physics. As government expands, liberty contracts.
A recession is when your neighbor loses his job. A depression is when you lose yours. And recovery is when President of the United States loses his.
Someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. The martyrs of history were not fools. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the machine. I hope everybody's doing well. I'm not doing too terrible. I just hope you're doing better. Oh, we really don't have much of anything to get to tonight. For the most part, we got a few things, but we're pretty much just gonna chill out and talk, I guess. Mostly because I am kind of under the gun here. Been extremely busy, and I'm kind of neglecting things that I can't neglect anymore. Like the museum page and stuff like that. I got to get some, content up there and everything, and get that rolling a little bit better. But I mean, I got a lot of stuff that's going on behind me, behind this curtain here, that is just taking up a lot of my time. And of course, as the warmer it gets, the more busy it's going to become. So I got to kind of try and find that balance. So I apologize if I don't have a whole lot tonight, but we're definitely going to have some conversations. But first, as per usual, I just want to check in on everybody and see how everybody is doing. I hope your week is going well. I think somebody needs to slip Mother Nature some Midol, because this is nuts. We're going to go from 87, 88 degrees today down to like 41 tomorrow. Like, seriously, this is absolutely insane having to deal with that. Like, just when you think there's hope, you're going to have some decent warm weather, it's like, nah. Have some more cold. I am absolutely done with cold. Oh, I already know I'm shadow banned. I've been shadow banned for a long time. Christina just said the algorithm really is shadow banning me. She still has to search for the show, typed machine, before it even popped up. I'm not surprised. I'm not. They've been shadow banning me for quite some time because they don't like my language. They don't like the fact that I'm not playing their game, so to speak. So it's an unfortunate truth, but that's what it is. What it is. Why do you think I keep telling you guys at the end of the show, if you really want to help out, to share the show with 5 friends and tell those 5 friends to share with 5 friends? That's the only way we can kick the algorithm in the balls. Otherwise, we stay down here at the bottom because they really don't give a fuck about us. We're not making them money. It's just an unfortunate truth. I mean, we do what we can. That's the only thing that we can do. We just gotta continue to push on. Well, like I told you guys, a while back when they changed the rules the first time, effective January, the channel was cut in less than half. I mean, we had I would say they cut 2/3 out. Like, there was people saying, "Hey, it's telling me I'm not subscribed to your show anymore." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, yeah, it's not. We're not subscribed to your show anymore. And it wasn't just once or twice. I heard it several times. I'm like, okay, well, I guess you're gonna have to subscribe again. And they agree that what did one guy call it? I'm trying to think of what one dude called it, but he told me what it was, and he said it's due to the type of show that you are. He called it a very specific name, and I for the life of me, I can't remember. I'm trying to remember what exactly he said it was. Well, I'll think of that here in a minute. In fact, I might actually kind of look up a couple things on that because that might be something we're going to talk about today. Like I said, not surprised at all. I mean, they're screwing people across the board. They're not just screwing the angry guy here with a foul mouth. They're screwing a lot of content creators. They're cutting people down left and right. Even basic channels, stuff that, like historical channels, history channels and stuff like that, educational stuff. Cutting them down, shutting them off. What's crazy, and one of the other historians that I deal with brought this up. He said it's funny. He goes, we went on your channel, here, the machine, and numbers, they weren't flying up. He goes, you come on my channel, and everybody's asking when you're coming back, and it was completely loaded. And I'm like, well, I had to explain to him. I was like, have you listened to my hat looks crooked. Have you listened to the rest of my stuff? And he's like, kind of. I'm like, yeah, you might want to go back and listen to that again. I was like, that's why. And he goes, oh shit. He's like, yeah, but you're really popular on my channel. I'm like, well, that's awesome. Tell him to come visit, so that way I can get this fixed. My hat's been a little weird. I'm still trying to think of what the hell that guy called it. Something. It was a penalty of some sort. Which is what we refer to as a shadow ban, but I don't remember what the hell he called it. Like I said, it'll come to me. But YouTube is not the only one that's doing that. There's several social media sites that are doing that. I did a boost post thing one time on Facebook, and I did it once just to see just to see how well it would work and everything, what it would do. Well, first off, they're lying to you, because I could go through on the comments of the thing that I boosted and tell you that most of those comments were fake. Like the profiles weren't real and everything else like that. They were basically bots. So you paid for bots. I just wanted to see what it would do. And apparently, I think that's what's going on in the news right now, though. Isn't YouTube and Meta being sued because of that? I think that's what they were being sued for changing algorithm and lying. And I don't really produce anything in Rumble. I know Rumble it's live right now, but I haven't tried to push subscribers there. I haven't tried anything like that. In fact, I think I've only got a couple followers on there because I never really used it. Hey, Alan. What is the name of that? Borderline content penalty. That's what he called it. And I remember him explaining, because of foul language, edgy content, political content, dick jokes, stuff like that. That's what's shutting us down. And I'm not going to change a fucking thing so YouTube can suck on my dick. Seriously, I really don't care. They can't shut us all. They can't shut us all down as much as they try. You know, Christina, you probably have a point there. Okay, I got that guy taken care of. Let's see. Well, even that dude from last week that was on one of the other things, Todd. He was confused. He didn't understand why. You know, we weren't being heard like that. Weren't heard like that. Use that yet. Yeah, when telling the truth is a revolutionary act. Yeah, I know. You know, like I said, we'll get into that because you know what, we've got time. I've only got a couple audio bites to get through and everything. We've got time, so we can revisit this and talk more about it. I think it's necessary. Alan, I used to say at the end of every show, I'd like to thank each and every one of you, all 5 of you. Now it's actually true. It wasn't back then. I was just teasing people. Now it's like, holy shit, this is what's going on now. Now it's no longer a joke. It's the absolute fucking truth. YouTube hates us that much. I had to write myself a note to remind myself of what I was going to be doing. Let's see. Let's get something started here. Oh, crap. I'm so tired. Try and find something we haven't played for a little bit. This is another reason because we actually play music and we're fair use, so they get mad. Like I said, they're not making money off of us. All right, I am back. And I was writing a few things down because we already started talking about it, so we might as well keep going, right? I went ahead and looked up the term that my friend gave me and kind of rolled off from there. Let's see. Yeah, I was right. I was right about at least about the term borderline content penalty. And it says this is the closest thing that YouTube actually has to a shadow ban. That's not true. I'll get to that in a minute. If YouTube's automated system decided a video gets too close to violating community guidelines like edgy humor, borderline violence, or controversial topics, which is, well, fucking everything. Absolutely everything. They won't delete it. What they do is they actively stop recommending it on their homepage or suggested videos. The video exists, but it reaches the reach is intentionally strangled. And I already mentioned the algorithm shift. And it says YouTube constantly tweaks the machine learning that dictates the homepage. A channel might rely heavily on a specific format or trend, and if YouTube updates the algorithm to prioritize something else, like longer watch times or different formats, the channel impressions can dry up overnight. No shit. We already said that. Click-through rate trap. When a creator uploads a video, YouTube tests it with a small group of the regular viewers. If that initial group doesn't click on or clicks and leaves immediately, the algorithm assumes the video isn't engaging and stops pushing it out to a wider audience. Yeah, no, don't let the people decide. Let the algorithm. Yeah, thanks for fucking us over again there, Canadian. We had 87 degrees today. It's going to be 41 tomorrow. You know what that does down here? That causes shit that you don't want, like giant whirly gigs that take away everything you own. Let's see. Yeah, shadow demonetization, age restrictions. I'm not monetized. We can't be monetized because we are fair use. That's fine. It says sometimes videos get quietly flagged as non-advertiser friendly or get hit with a subtle age restriction. When a video loses monetization, the algorithm often stops promoting it because YouTube makes less money off of it. You know, to hell if it's popular, just squash it. Let's see. I started during the song. I kept clicking and pulling. What's ironic is, Christina, we were talking about AI videos taking over everything. Well, apparently YouTube has had enough of that too, because they realized that the homepage is filling up with low effort, fully AI generated garbage, and viewers get bored and leave. So they're cracking down on monetization for inauthentic content. The only thing about that is it sees some content as inauthentic, and it's actually fully authentic. There's been some complaints on that. What was the other part then? I said I just started clicking and pulling on complaints on YouTube, and got explanation. You know, the good news is I clicked on the right friggin' page, because it gave the explanations too. Let's see. YouTube's algorithm and their human reviewers are now explicitly looking for a human touch. To stay monetized, you must add original commentary, personal storytelling, or unique insight. Well, guess what? That's what this channel's about. None of that shit that you guys are worried about right here. Do you see it? Mandatory warning labels. Maybe. Let's see what it says, though. If a creator does use AI to generate realistic scenes, we don't do that. Fake events or voice clones, YouTube now forces them to slap an altered content disclosure label on a video. They're drawing a hard line so viewers know what's real and what isn't. I can actually agree with that for the most part there, because of the voice clones and stuff like that. I mean, there's a couple channels that like Exploring with Us. Okay, I used to love that channel when him and his daughter actually went out and explored, and then all of a sudden they became this voiceover, these voiceover videos. Just, that was it. That's all they became. It's not their voice. It's a computer generated voice and everything else like that. It's a lazy content, and I fucking got rid of them. Sort of sounds like, unless you're in the preferred friends of YouTube, you're not going anywhere, and you're welcome. Want more? No, I do not want any more. You're right, though. That's why everybody's been looking for other platforms. But to be honest with you, I don't think Rumble's any different. Granted, like I said, I haven't pushed Rumble or anything else like that, but by default, people should be seeing the content and watching it, and you know, it's not happening. I've had a couple friends just you know, try and look me up on Rumble and stuff to see what would come up, and usually they said you almost have to type out the entire show name to even get it. And I've had them, like, you know, wait till it's live or whatever and go on like incognito mode and go to Rumble and click on the live list and just look. You know, don't search for it, just look. Not really there. All right, there was something else I was going to bring up about that because I grabbed it. You know, we were talking about the algorithm and everything else like that. This part, I didn't agree with what the guy said, because it's not 100% true, but I get where he was going. Says for a long time, YouTube basically took a sledgehammer to channels that relied on edgy comedy, adult humor, and raw political commentary. Well, that's kind of us. It killed off an entire era of YouTube. And it sucks that channels across the board of this type are getting caught in a crossfire and getting shut down, or just algorithmed out of existence. And I'm like, hi, that's us, because like I said, 2/3 of our viewership went to shit. They were complaining about the ads. Since I'm not using ads, I'm not monetized or anything else like that. They don't like it. And they don't like, adult jokes, dick jokes or anything else like that. They don't like heated political debates. They basically turned everybody into bitches, and that's what they were trying, what the intent was, and it's not working in their favor anymore. Even YouTube, not long ago, said that they, in a way, not actually spelling it out, that they had went too far. That they basically all but choked the life out of the platform. And indeed they did. Like I said, they were taking out history channels, they're taking out my channel, they're taking out tons of channels. And they made you use some sort of like baby language, like bitch language, okay? Like, you can no longer say dead, it's unalive. You can't say gun or firearm, it's pew pew. No, fuck that shit. That's not English. That's not what we say. This is English. Okay, it's a fucking sidearm. Okay, it's a sidearm. It's a firearm. It's a pistol. It's a rifle. It's not pew pew. And you're not unalive. You're fucking dead. You couldn't talk about attempted assassinations or suicides or you couldn't use any language like that, or automatically it was be gone with you. And that's probably why I piss them off, because I call them out on it. And I'll just say in plain English what I want to fucking say. I wouldn't say that, Dennis. He says it seems that the online worlds are following the real world in terms of its digital popularity versus real life popularity. Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have got cut in 2/3. We used to go out and do live outings. We would actually pack up the show, throw that shit in a trailer, go to a remote location, and the building would be filled every time. A lot of people here locally have said that they have a hard time, even here, like within my vicinity, have a hard time finding the show on YouTube. No, Christina, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a few years ago. A guy that approached us when Matt was still here, approached us and said, "Hey, I got an opportunity for you guys." We're like, "Okay, shoot. Would you guys like to be on FM, FM and AM radio?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "What?" I was like, "Well, what does that entail?" He goes, "Well, you can't say certain things. You can't tell, so like a lot of the jokes that you tell. You can't play that kind of music. You can't use foul language, because of the FCC and stuff like that." I'm like, "So you want to neuter the show?" I was like, "He wants to sound like everybody else." He's like, "No, you can still keep your edge. You just got to back off on a lot of things that you do." I was like, "So you want to neuter the show?" And he was just absolutely, shocked that I said, "No, I'm not. I don't want to be on AM FM radio if that's what it's going to take." He's like, "Well, it just doesn't make any sense." He's like, and he said the dumbest thing I think he possibly could have said when it comes to us, especially me. He's like, well, don't you want people to hear you? I'm like, yeah, people hear us all the time. He's like, don't you want a lot of people to hear you? I was like, well, if they want to hear us, they can hear us. He's like, well, but don't you want to be famous? I'm like, no, I really don't. He was absolutely stunned. He goes, you seriously, you're gonna not do this opportunity because you don't want to change to get more popular. I was like, this isn't a popularity contest for me. I said, would I like a lot of listeners and followers? Sure. But only if they like the fucking content, not because, and that they're, and that they're having a good time. I want it to see, them to see me as me, not as this sugar-filled, watered down bullshit version of what used to be. I was like, no, if it's at the, if you want me to change all this stuff, it's not going to happen, man. I was like, I really don't care. He was just absolutely stunned by this. And I mean, I all but basically told him after a few minutes of explaining to him, it's not about fame. Hell, for the large portion of the show, when we first started, we didn't even mention our names. Nobody even knew who we were. We were just the machine. It wasn't until people started constantly asking that we started saying our names at the beginning of the show. That's it. And I mean, I all but basically told him,
Go fuck yourself. Why don't you just go fuck yourself?
I am not going to take away what I've built, and just turn it in. I would rather just have you guys. I would rather have, the loyal friends. You guys aren't just listeners. You're my friends. Okay. We have, grown to know each other quite well. And that is more important to me than anything. I could give a shit less. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow and there be the number in my algorithm over, or my sidebar over there could say 5,000 people, but I don't care. We have gotten this, we have basically, created this friendship because the show doesn't talk to you. I just don't show up and be like, this is what I think, you're going to like it, and ignore who's in the chat room. I believe the mark of a true good show is to have the talk back and forth like we do. I don't want to talk at you. I want to talk with you. If that makes any sense at all, but that's how I started the show. I felt more comfortable that way. Are there times when I make videos it's obviously not live and it's just me? Sure. But the majority of the time it's me being live on something and having a conversation with the people that are listening. I hope that makes sense somehow. I don't know if it does, but that's just how I feel about it. And as of just January, I remember they were talking about this rollback thing. It was a controversial topics update. That's what I wrote down here. It says YouTube officially relaxed its rules on controversial issues. They realized they were unfairly punishing creators who talked about real heavy or political topics. As long as the content isn't graphically violent or pushing hate speech. Now, who fucking makes that determination? What is hate speech? It's speech that you don't like. There's a lot of shit out there that I don't like. I can't really put it in there as hate speech until it's actually hateful, but they would label us as that because we're not, the leftist establishment. It says that they are now allowing full monetization. I don't know why I clipped that part. They are now allowing full monetization on subjects that used to be instant death for a channel. We're not monetized because again we fall under fair use because of the music and the audio bites and stuff. But you know what? We'll take a break and continue this because it's going to go on for just a little bit. I'll tell you what. You know, when we get back from a break, I'll talk a little bit more about this, and then I'll allow you guys to just ask questions about the show. Not that you don't already know pretty much fucking everything, but maybe if we can come up with an idea, you know, just have a conversation, really. Go find me some music. Let's see. Crapola. Why not?
Yo, check this out. This Ice-T body count. UABB upon a burning body, bitch. That's UABBB. Fuck that. Anyway, we up in this motherfucker. Security fucking with me. Tell us to stop standing on the goddamn couches. Now, fucker, you can get hurt. Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Yo, check this out. Turn down for what? Drunk in the club, liquor in my cup. You can see that I don't give a fuck. Turn down for what? Get out my face, motherfucker. Let's wanna see what's up. Turn down for what? Bartender just hit me with the double. Drink tequila so you know we're in trouble. Showing up to every party tipsy. Living life like a star, but can you blame me? Now that's my kind of party. So light 'em up. 'Cause tonight we just don't give a fuck. You know we're always up to no good. This is rockstar shit, motherfucker. You wish you could. You know we're always up to no good. Pop the loud, another round of shots. Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Turn down for what? Drunk in the club, liquor in my cup. You can see I don't give a fuck. Turn down for what? Get out my face, motherfucker. Let's wanna see what's up. Turn down for what? You can't find me chilling at the bottom of a cold drink. Blasting Pantera, drinking OE. Sipping on that cold cop whiskey. You're fucking right, we're crazy. Now that's my kind of party. So light 'em up, 'cause tonight we just don't give a fuck. Swear to God, the security guard looks at me one more time, I'm punching him in the face. Yo, cuz, why you bumping all up into me, nigga? You drunker than me, what's happening? Yo, bitch, you ain't been take your bottles, bitch. Are you fucking crazy? Put the bottle down. This is a part of burning body. Bitch, you trying to get cooked? Turn down for what? 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 Yo, check this out. Turn down for what? This is rockstar shit, motherfucker. Turn down for what? Check this out. This is a part of burning body, bitch. Turn down for what? This is rockstar shit. This is rockstar shit. Drunk in the club, liquor in my cup. You can see that I don't give a fuck. Turn down for what? Stay out my face, motherfucker. Let you wanna see what's up. Turn down for what? Drunk in the club, liquor in my cup. You can see I don't give a fuck. Turn down for what? Get out my face, motherfucker. Let you wanna see what's up. Turn down for what?
What you listening to?
just blew my mind.
You're welcome.
Enjoy the show.
Okay, let's get back to it. Let's see, I went too far. I accidentally hit the button with my... Yeah, there we go. There we go. I went and grabbed a couple more things while I was working on it. But hey, yeah, here's one of the other things. One guy says the bot is listening to everything. And this is keeping adult jokes and cursing out of the metadata, you know, titles, tags, descriptions used to be enough, not anymore. YouTube's auto transcription AI now quite literally listens to your audio track of every single video you upload. It generates hidden captions, scans an entire transcript for a blacklist of keywords and profanity, and grades your video based on what it hears. If the bot flags too many F-bombs, well, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and fuck you some more. Specific adult themes quietly restricts your monetization. I don't care about monetization. We've already talked about that. Which in turn, the algorithm to stop recommending your video to new viewers. Which is why I keep telling you guys we have to share the channel to get the channel to work. Oh, yeah, well, I know you mentioned pissed off millennial and stuff. Yeah, I've actually spoke with him on live, and we've actually spoke about this in a short term. Mostly because I didn't stick around very long. I had to leave. There's a couple other guys, I mean, that are getting their testicles kicked in between their eyeballs every time they log in. Let's see, where was I at? Well, and remember, one of the things that YouTube said, and you remember this very well because it was on the news and everything. YouTube claimed themselves. Nobody else. They claimed themselves that they were the bastion of free speech. No, you're beholden to the money. You're beholden to the ad people. You could give a flying shit about creators. It's only if whether or not you can attach an ad to it. Well, guess what? I got an idea. You can definitely, if you want to, YouTube, I promise you, like I said, I don't give a fuck. You can keep the money and shove it up your ass. I don't care. I can't be monetized because of fair use. I admit this. I won't ever do it, so there's no reason for me to even try. But here I got an idea. You can put ads on a show. The little taglines or whatever. You can do that. But it's got to be for products that we would actually use or would talk about on the show. That's right. Hope you like butt plugs. Yeah, you can put a tag on there, about the furry tail, butt plug or whatever. I probably wouldn't even fucking bat an eye at that. Go ahead, make us an adult channel. Don't give a shit. If somebody wants to pull start themselves like a lawnmower with a fucking with a roll of beads, let them do it. Alcohol. As long as you don't fucking put Jack Daniels or Jim Beam or something, I got better, more refined taste than that. Throw some alcohol ads on here. Throw some ads about about race cars, whatever else like that. Push Matt Rife on my channel. I could give a shit less. But don't try and fool anybody and say that you're not. That you're not dealing with just ad pushes. I finally just found it. CEO Susan Wojcicki loudly and publicly bragged about being the ultimate open platform and a champion of free expression. You fucking kidding me, right?
Bullshit.
I'm sorry, but that's not true at all. They explicitly use the exact marketing to convince millions of creators to pour their blood, sweat, and tears into building the site. But the second major PR disaster is hit, and the advertisers threatened to pull their money. Told you. YouTube quietly shifted its entire corporation philosophy from freedom of speech to brand safety. They want the audience. They don't give a shit about your talking. They don't care about, any sort of art form or anything else like that if you're a comedian, whatever. They just care about that ad money. Biggest thing that you could ever do is actually just shut down your channel. Or, in my case, don't have to shut down the channel because you're not monetized. Just demonetize yourself. If thousands started doing that, shit would change real quick. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the advertiser thing. An advertiser buys space on YouTube. They get a menu of brand safety tiers. The vast majority of brands choose standard or limited inventory tiers, which use AI to aggressively filter out moderate to heavy profanity, adult themes, and controversial topics. Well, fuck, that's the entire show. Man, that hurts a little. Not really. Advertisers are actually opting out of your content because they don't want to explain to their shareholders why their ad for a family minivan played with someone like me. Well, I already gave you the ideas. Fuck, we don't need the minivan thing. Just like I said, throw some alcohol on here. Throw fucking butt plugs or I keep saying the gene pool needs bleach. Throw fucking condoms on here. Alan don't have no friends. I find that shocking, actually. Yeah, so I mean, I touched. Like I said, we're not monetized, so most of that doesn't even pertain to us. Pertain to me anyway. But everybody thought we was nuts. That we was lying. That it's just people just got bored with us or something. Like, no, we had people. I mean, you guys saw just a little while back. 2 shows ago, a dude that hasn't listened to us in forever popped in. He's like, holy fuck, I found you again. This is awesome. He was stupid excited to be back on the show. And it was well over 2 years, or well over a year that he had been on. One dude hadn't been on here in forever. He popped in and chilled with us. So it is truthful. We're not lying to you. It's 2 people outside. It's 2 people in here. I got too many motherfuckers with me right now. Too damn many content creators chase the almighty dollar and selling their souls for clicks and bucks. You're not wrong there. Could the show benefit from some funding? Yeah, we've talked about that. There's equipment that needs fucking repaired and everything else like that. Yes. Am I going to sell my soul, change my entire show format, and monetize to do that? No, that's never gonna fucking happen, ever. Sorry, just not my thing. We'll work it out amongst ourselves before we start, letting Gerber baby food be on the Machine Radio Show. Or Starbucks. No, we're not doing that. Just not going to happen. I mean, the way I feel with the ad, the ad people and stuff like that.
Why don't you make like a tree and get the fuck out of here?
I don't do those. Yeah, there's Christina. I will email you something later on if you ever check your email more than once a month. I would email it to Alan, but he never checks his email at all. Cock. But both for the show and for the museum, I actually have things in cart. I'll show you guys so you know what I'm dealing with. Things that need repaired, broke. The first thing is actually this little dude right here, the camera. Don't laugh, but it is essentially held together with super glue, and I had to rob parts from another one to make this one work again. Work enough to where I could continue on with the show. Yeah, see what I'm talking about? You motherfuckers don't even check. I don't think Dennis does either. Yeah, here's what I'm going to do with you two. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you the email, and I'm going to continuously send one letter at a time from an entire sentence. I'm talking like if I'm spelling the word check, it's going to be C, send, H, send, E, send, C, send, K, send. I will blow his fucking phone up until you go and check your email. This is something that me and my buddy, Mr. Ho-Ho, the Ho-Ho Show, used to do to each other all the time. We'd either send one word at a time or one letter from one fucking word at a time. So you'd have like 22 texts, and it would be a single sentence. Short sentence or something. It's such a fucking dick way to do it. Now, I'm absolutely just devastatingly handsome, and that's why you want 4K. That's right. You know this is beautiful.
Mother lecker.
You just admit it. I'm pretty. I'm pretty. And if you don't think so,
he could kiss my fucking ass.
Oh, I am ruthless. Oh no, this would be to your text messages, Alan. I wouldn't do it to your email. You never check it. I would do it so your phone has a fucking stroke. That's what I would do. I have done it. It's kind of our thing. All right, let's see. Let's get Jesus, I should have turned the air back on in here. It's hot as freaking hell in a hand. Man, it's hot in here. Still one of my favorite bands of all time. Song I haven't listened to for a while.
Hey lefties, liberals, and progressives. This is not a safe space. I repeat, this is not a safe space.
If you are one of those squishies who are easily offended, put on your safety pins, pussy hats, and leave this radio station. Or you can free yourself and get educated.
Well, hell yeah! I tried to twist him up, but he wouldn't have it. Hell no. This old boy's wild. We about to have to keep this one.
You are listening to the Machine Radio Show with your hosts, Brandon
and Matt.
Talking about a bunch of hobos with fingers in each other's pooper in a stranger's car with talk radio playing really loud. It's going to be a nice evening.
Okay, shit just got real weird. I think I'm going to need a safe space.
What the? Are those friends of yours, Matt?
Oh, hell no.
Are you sure?
Oh, shut your dumpster and start the show already.
Well, all right, pissy pants. Let's do everything you want to do.
You know, that was one. That's a group of guys that I actually got to know fairly well by traveling with them for a while and stuff like that. I got photos of one of the guitarists with me for several tour dates and stuff. His name was Brian. Unfortunately, Brian died on the tour bus. And I was wondering what happened to those guys. I mean, I hadn't seen, anything from Cameron or anything for a long time, or for the band. I didn't realize that Cameron had got really heavy into fentanyl and stuff like that. And he's been homeless and stuff and living on the streets in Los Angeles, which is terrible to hear, because he's such an awesome guy, and I dig quite a bit of what he does, what he's did over the years, and I wish him well. I hope he gets better, because you couldn't ask for, like I said, one of the nicest guys you'd ever meet. And it's very rare that you walk into a green room and you see, the lead singer sitting in a corner, with his earbuds in, and he's warming up. He's singing to himself and everything else like that. And I mean, doing, just all as many vocal exercises, I think, as that man could think of before he went on stage. He really cared about his art. They were always a lot of fun to watch, and just to be around. Just a great group of guys, and I wish him well. I hope he gets his life straightened out, and I hope maybe American Head Charge gets back together. And and he stays obviously clean. I don't know whatever happened with the rest of the guys, though. I don't know where they went, if they're in different bands now, or what. Kind of curious. I'll look them up later, though. We got other stuff we got to get to. And Alan, joke's on you. My phone won't make a single sound in the middle of the night. By the way, did you know you could actually program your phone to send... I didn't know you could do this, but somebody did it to me. Basically, you can make your own automated text. So I can just put one, type one in and then set it to go off to certain phone numbers every couple hours. Anyhow, all right, let's get to what we're an hour into the show and really haven't done anything, so. All right, let's see. Oh yeah, this one's funny. Well, not funny, but we've already talked about a lot about the protesters and stuff here, especially the ones that are for Hamas, for basically all men are terrorist organizations. They're supporting Iran among many other things, and they don't. This is the best audio I've got. This was on the street in public. Them talking exactly about who they admire and what they think.
Until we have done everything in our power to bring the United States to its knees, let us not lose sight of the enemy. For every U.S. military base that crumbles, and for every U.S. soldier who returns home in a casket, we cheer.
Yeah, did you hear that? For every soldier that comes home in a coffin, we cheer. Sounds like the Westboro Baptist, only dumber.
Hamas, Hezbollah, Ansar Allah, all of the resistance forces we celebrate. These popular voices forces on the ground spend every waking moment in direct confrontation with Zionism, and they rely on a strong Iranian state to maintain their fighting capacity.
Do you hate America? May a Hamas rocket blow up your family's home.
Yeah, they live among us. These kind of people actually live here. And they're allowed to say that because, free speech and all. But think about that for a split second. Okay? Not a very comfortable thing to hear, is it? To realize that there are people in this country who are benefiting off of the system that are going to go out in public and tell you they want Hamas to kill your family. Because, those types won't do it themselves. They want Hamas and Hezbollah and everybody else to do that. They don't understand what the ideologies of these people really are. They just don't like the country. Well, if you don't like it, you can pack your fucking bags and find a country of your choosing. I guarantee you right now, one of you skinny little white fucks go over to the Middle East and be like, I am here. I support you. I'm a former American. The second you fucking say the word American, yeah, they're going to use you for leverage. And if they can't use you for leverage, they're going to just kill you. They don't care about you. You are infidel and they want you dead too. You fuckers are just too stupid to understand that. You know what? Just for them.
Fuck you, you're a fucking wanker. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you with a fucking anchor. You're all cunts, so fuck you all. Fuck you, you're a fucking wanker. We're gonna punch you right in the balls. Fuck you with a fucking anchor. You're all cunts, so fuck you all. Go!
Well, and there's a percentage of people, Christina, that really do, but it's not a very big percentage. She said, I've been trying to tell people that they live among us. These are fucking Americans doing this. These aren't the people that were talking. Most of the crowd were Americans. They're not the people that they're chanting to. She says they're trying. I'm trying to tell people that they live among us. They don't come to flee their countries. They come to conquer ours. You're right. There are Islamist areas in this country, sleeper cells, if you will, that are waiting for that time to where they can do something. And I'm going to say something here. We're coming up on the 250th anniversary of this country. 250 years of freedom. This is a milestone, a very large one. So if I was everybody out there, and I'm not trying to gin up fear or anything else like that, but I'd put my fucking head on a swivel. Because don't think for a split second that right now, especially, this FBI and stuff like that are not watching for people like this. They are, but I guarantee you right now they're overstaffing and going into fucking overdrive because it's the 250th anniversary of the country. Our 250th birthday. And like I said, I'm not saying this to shock. I'm not saying this to, to gin up fear or anything else like that, or, whatever you fucking weirdos out there are going to say. I'm saying this to be vigilant. I want you to pay attention because this is a major thing and this would be a very big blow if they did something. So for fuck's sakes, keep your eyes open. They indoctrinate the local population anywhere they can get a foothold. I'm not saying that they don't. I'm not saying that they don't at all. But you'd be surprised how few that they can actually reach. But remember, one of the things that's truthful is a few people can make a hell of a racket. That shit's a double-edged sword and goes both ways. A handful of people can cause a big issue. It's logical to them. They kill us. They get more money from the government. Yeah, for the most part. I know in Canada that's kind of true. But you know, like I said, can I say that everybody that comes over here for a better life is, you know, these people if they come from the Middle East? Absolutely not. I know several myself that have been here for many years that despise Islamist regimes, the political, you know, Sharia law, shit like that. They some of them are still practicing Muslims. They're not Islamists, and they're good people, and I've known them for many years. I've got others that it's the second they landed on the soil, they converted to Christianity and said to hell with all of that. But even the ones that did, they'll tell you the same. They'll tell you the exact same thing. They do not. They left their countries to get away from it. But they will also tell you that there's people here that want this to happen. They will find a way. They will infiltrate government. They will do whatever they can, local, state, federal, whatever they can do. They will get their hands on. They will do it through the school systems. They will do it through, you know, community outreach, stuff like that. These are the things that you know that they talk about that I've been told. And it's, I'm sorry, guys. It's not. It's the truth. It's not, you know, an opinion. This shit's really happening. Yes, Ellen, that is absolutely true. But the problem is you got states like mine who would rather, for all intents and purposes, jerk off anybody other than an American. You know, they're doing the best that they can, especially in this state, to take away your ability to fight back. Be it, you know, with words or, you know, if the worst case possible should ever happen, your way of defending yourself. That is the state of Illinois. I wrote an entire article not too long ago. Finally finished it because I don't. Off on a small tangent. I am not a writer. Have I written articles? Do I write articles? Yes. Do they take me forever to write? Absolutely. The words are mine, but a lot of times I have to send it through, like, you know, one of my programs that corrects punctuation because I don't know when it's the right time to use like an Oxford comma and shit. So I got to do that, but the words are mine. But I wrote 2 articles lately, one about our local park and one about the state of Illinois, Governor Pritzker, and his attack on the Second Amendment. And I've had this stuff sitting on a hard drive forever. And just recently, he decided to say, okay, now we're going to we're going to try and push a bill, which is, by the way, in committee right now, to have all ammunition serialized and a 5 cents per round tax put on it and everything else like that. They're trying to, since their illegal gun ban might actually get knocked out by the Supreme Court if the Supreme Court ever gets off their fucking fat asses and does something, they got to find another way to shut you down. And this is the Obama approach. Remember what he said? He goes, "I'm not going to take your guns away from you. No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make your ammunition so fucking unobtainable, you're not going to be able to use them anyway." I mean, a few years ago, no, it's been more than a few years ago, but I'll say a few years ago, I would sit here right in this, you know, right at this desk and reload ammunition. It was therapeutic. I get to make my rounds more accurate for target shooting and everything. And it was therapeutic because what it did was it almost calmed me down, you know, the ADHD thing. I had to deal with these components. I had to make sure they're absolutely correct. I had to make sure my measurements, you know, through powder is correct. My primers are seated properly and sealed. All this stuff, you know, it's meticulous. And I did this for every single round. I didn't have, you know, one of those machines where you stick it in there and you just sit there and fucking pull the crank and it just continuously makes it. I had a single stage because it made me watch what I was doing and got things accurately. It was almost a therapy. You know, I loved doing it. Now you can't even afford to do it. I've got materials in here to reload, but I'm missing one component or another. Can't afford to go get it. They made it too expensive now. Right. Yeah, I know, Christina, you're absolutely right. Nobody's going to come save us. Better know how to take care of yourself and your families. All the people that are not commenting that are listening right now, can you argue with that? Can you? Bet you can't. Hate dry eyes. They are doing the same thing in a few steps worse north of the 49th. Yeah, I know. I watch Canada because Canada's our hat. I used to cast my own lead too, and powder coated them so that they wouldn't let up the bore. I got a buddy of mine that's really good at that. Actually, he's very, very, very good at casting lead. Me and him talk metallurgy and stuff like that. But his ability to be able to adjust, the lead is just perfect. Like I said, I used to do it because it was therapeutic and it gave me more ammunition for the range. It's ironic, you see especially a while back during another administration, that you would see, oh well, they found a stockpile of ammunition and it's 2,000 rounds. I was like, that's a day at the gun range. How's that a fucking stockpile? Call me when you find 55-gallon drums in a dude's house, and then I'm really going to worry. Okay, but 2,000 rounds, and it was various rounds of ammunition. It wasn't just the same caliber. Like, so you had like 400 of one, 500 of another, and like another 500 of each or something like that. I'm like, that's a day at the fucking gun range. Depending on what you're shooting. I mean, aside from the historical reason for having them, Moe's and the Gaunt 9130s, love them rifles. The M44s, love those rifles. You know why? Because we could go and buy a spam can back then for like $40, $50. It was like 400 fucking rounds. We'd keep shooting that shit until our shoulders were absolutely obliterated because it was fun to do. It wasn't a stockpiling situation. It was just to have some fun. Yeah, you want to keep a few rounds back for home defense and stuff like that. But like I said, if you want a guy to make me nervous, walk into his house and you see 55-gallon drums filled to the brim, and a sign on the fucking barrel that says "I hate America" or some shit, then I might get worried. But to call anybody having ammunition, you got a stockpile of multiple weapons, no shit. Women have multiple pieces of jewelry. They love their rings. They love their necklaces and stuff like that. Guess what? I do that with sidearms. Granted, I've only got just a few, but one day as a concealed carrier, I was like, okay, I'll carry my 9mm. Nope. Today I'm gonna carry the 40, maybe the 45, maybe the other 9mm. It's like an accessory. The man accessory. No, and along these lines, you two probably don't know about it. But I used to be state, for the entire state of Illinois. I used to be a state coordinator for a gun rights organization. I was for several years. It's now defunct. Unfortunately, they got new higher ups and they basically ran it into the ground. But I was that for quite a while. I went to a lot of meetings. I was there when they were haggling with going back and forth about how they were going to implement conceal and carry in the state of Illinois. You know, things like that. But that doesn't mean I ever went out of it. I got a lot of friends from that day that were, you know, coordinators from other states, you know, Oklahoma, Texas, Iowa, Missouri, Indiana. And I sent them the article that I had just written, and they're like, he's back. I'm like, no, he's not. He never left. He's just doing things more quietly now. But no, I just consider it like a piece of jewelry, Christina. Maybe sometime, you know, I mean, you would crack up laughing when I start carrying a 45 because I'm a short guy. I'm barely 5'6" tall, so it's like pulling a Dirty Harry because it's a full size sidearm. So when I take it off at night, it's like, yeah, it's just, you know, my friends were actually they're like, you know, that's great that you're still, you know, still doing. I was like, I'm kind of behind on the times, but I'm keeping up for the best that I can with the state of Illinois, but not with you know, across the country like I did. But I still feel the same way. I feel it's absolutely a right within us. It's not, you know, a right that the government can regulate and take away. It is protected by the Constitution. And, you know, we can have the argument all day long. I've heard, you know, all of it. Well, the militia part, I'm like, read why they said that. By the way, it's a single fucking sentence with an Oxford comma. They made it as simple as possible for you to understand. You're an hour and a half late. But they wrote the founding fathers were not idiots. They wrote it in a single sentence because it was that important. Yet you got people that are out there like, well, you know, you don't have a right to a firearm. You don't have a right to defend yourself. The fuck I don't. And you got progressive pieces of shit like my governor that are continuously telling people otherwise. But then again, this you know, pudgy son of a bitch is also the type of person who is trying to groom himself somehow for a presidential run and has never seen a camera that he does not like. He's always in front of one. And it's never about things, you know, he's like, well, he start talking about how good he's done or something, and you're like, yeah, you can pick that apart in 3 seconds. But it's never about what he can do or anything else. It's what he's already done to fuck you over and what his plans are. He never, let me rephrase that. He never really tells you his plans. He just waits until in the middle of a night when everybody's asleep so they can't object to it and passes things. They have a monopoly on the government here. It's irony that he's like, the president is not a dictator. He's not a king. And I'm like, you motherfucker. You rule exactly verbatim like a fucking king. Okay? You have supermajority. You've had this shithole has been 40 fucking plus years of Democrat rule. That's the reason why we have the shittiest state in the union at this moment. And you're at the helm going, yeah, guess what? We're going to do some more. We're going to keep fucking you and fucking you and fucking you and fucking you until you feel like, you know, you should scream, you know, mercy, and then we're going to fuck you some more. The smart thing for you to do is to move out of the state. But unfortunately, he's made sure that most of us are so poor that we can't move out of the state even if we wanted to. And if you think I'm kidding, yeah, look at our finances. You'd be surprised how little some of us are actually living on. All right, let's take a break.
You see, it's It's not the blood you spill that gets you what you want. It's the blood you share, your family, your friendships, your community. These are the most valuable things a man can have. What makes you think everything is this world that you have can be taken away? In a world that's fake, it's still up and kill. I live in shame while you blame me for that. It is what's right, still this all worth fighting for. My pride, your honor, everyone has a destiny. I'll choose my own. I will not be a victim. I'll choose my own. My crime will go unheard. I'll choose my own. I've got to fight for myself. I'll choose my own. And what I hold so true. Destiny. I'll choose my own destiny. And I'll never let anyone take away what I hold so true. I won't live in denial. I won't turn the other cheek. I must remain convicted and never accept this suffering. I learn from my mistakes and made a promise to myself. I won't live in the past. I won't live in the past. I've been affected by your lies, and I've let them hold me back. I wasn't thinking for myself. I wasn't living for myself. I will not be a victim. I'll choose my own. My crime will go unheard. I'll choose my own. I've got to fight for myself. I'll choose my own. And what I hold so true. What I have in my heart, what I have in my heart, I'll take to my grave. I'll take to my grave.
You, sir, are not one of my vassals. Who are you?
I am the machine.
What? I'm the machine. Okay.
You are listening to the Machine Radio Show.
Not your daddy's conservative talk radio.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
I'm the machine.
Fuck that bitch. This is... Tonight you're party with us, yes?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Skate.
You know, aside from needing equipment and everything else for both the museum and the radio show, I need more tattoos. I do. I got several of them drawn up. I need more. You can never have too many. These old privileged Karens need a hobby and a jobby. I think some of them just need to get laid. Trust me, there's a lot of them in Congress that need just in desperate need of a good humping. Sorry. We don't want to have to protest every time a Democrat wins an election. We don't do that. Do we go to protests? Yes. Have we had protests? Yes. Guess what? When we did a protest, millions showed up. Guess what happened? Not a fucking thing. They didn't even find so much as a cigarette butt on the grounds. You get 20 of the opposition out there who are apparently just professional protesters only, and the place looks like an absolute disaster, like somebody shook, just trash cans all over the floor, all over the ground and stuff. Yeah, there's definitely a few of them, Christina. I'm not going to lie. That is the second you see them, it causes instant erectile dysfunction. You sure do. Of course you do. Wow, it's getting spicy outside. Yes, Dennis, I agree. But we need the sort of people to take one for the team. So if you want to come down from Canada and start bagging some of these Yetis in Congress, we will let you, to your heart's content. You can start knocking it back. We'll let you do it. I mean, you can just do us a favor. Come down here, and especially like ones like Fannie Willis, or I don't remember what that one from Illinois is, but they're in desperate need of a good boning. You can just come down to from Canada and do this for us. We would love you forever. We might even give you free citizenship for that one. Just walk into the office and
ask me about my winner.
Of course, if you're brave enough, I mean, I guess you can go dudes too. Sorry, it had to happen. Just walk into their office and tell them,
Bend over and take it up the tailpipe.
oh man, is this going to ruin the algorithm again? Sorry, as a resident Canadian, we have to have you do that. Christina, Angie should remember this. We've done this multiple times. We do it once every year, but unfortunately, people get soft and complicit. But we do a gun rights march to the state capitol here, and there was one time in particular where we had over 7,000 people walking down the street. We actually filled the entire building, damn near to capacity at one point. Let's see, there was something else I want to get into. And it's not a politician's knickers. Definitely not getting in their knickers. No. We'll leave that for the Canadian. Let's see. No, that one's not it. Which one is this? No. Here we go. Of course, we can't not talk about Air Propaganda Minister Jeffries, because he's another one that likes to be in front of the camera at all times.
You are the whole reason, as you just laid out, that DHS is not funded right now is because you're trying to push the administration to enact some policy changes on how Border Patrol and ICE act when they're out looking for illegal immigrants. And now what you're saying is that you're okay with funding TSA, which has been, I think, the biggest point of leverage that you possibly had in order to get what you want on ICE, because ICE already has its money. So what was the point of this shutdown if you're okay with funding TSA?
Well, we never approach these things that are in front of us with respect to government funding in the context of leverage.
The fuck you don't. You just heard him say that, right? Hold on, I'm going to back that up.
These things that are in front of us with respect to government funding in the context of leverage.
Since when? You guys held up for over 45 days and you called it leverage. And you're fucking telling us now that you didn't? What do you think you're doing right now? You're playing with other people's lives. They're not getting their paychecks for doing their job because you're throwing a fucking political tantrum. We're not holding it for leverage.
Our approach is, what is the appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? And we believe...
Well, it sure as fuck isn't funding anything you guys want to do, like, transgenderism in Rwanda.
That taxpayer dollars should be used to make life more affordable for the American people.
Since when? Since when have you wanted to do that? You guys are the tax and spend people. You always have been. Look at all the bullshit you tried ramming through. Look at all the taxes you guys tried ramming through. Not just on federal, but state level. And I'm telling you guys, if this weather gets any worse, if you see me dive underneath the desk, I'm sorry. I don't like it. But
not brutalize or kill them or violently target law-abiding immigrant families, which is what we...
Law-abiding immigrant families. This is what they're saying we're doing. We're going after law-abiding immigrants. The law-abiding immigrants are turning the fucking illegals in. Where do you get this shit? They're not immigrants if they're illegal, you dickhead. The legal ones are going, fuck this. We had to work our asses off to get here. We're working our asses off to be here. And we're pressing for our citizenship. And you're like, oh, well, ICE is picking up people left and right and harassing families. And douche.
We know ICE agents have been doing.
I'm just trying to understand how, if you fund TSA and the other agencies that you just talked about, how you think that you will be able to put pressure then on the administration to make the changes to ICE that you're asking for.
Make it make sense.
The American people are going to continue to put pressure on the administration.
What American people? The majority of American people don't want to fucking deal with your shit. They think what's happening is supposed to be happening. They voted for it.
Because they know ICE is out of control. They need to be reined in. And
How is ICE out of control? What do they need to be reined in for? Because they're actually doing their job? They're no longer restrained? They're no longer told to let people just walk over the border millions at a time? You know, the great replacement?
View is that they should not get another dime of taxpayer dollars until we have bold and dramatic and meaningful changes.
So that was
And what do you guys think of that? What do you think of it? I don't know if we're going to have time for the other two. You know, they actually deny, Christina, that that Obama and not Obama. I'm sorry, that Biden put the welcome mat out. Of course, Obama kind of did too. We're not going to get into that, but Biden definitely did put out the welcome mat. I mean, for fuck's sake, they were standing at the fence wearing T-shirts with the president's name on it, and they all had brand new cell phones. Coincidence, right? I said the great replacement. What they want to do is they want to replace voters. They want to replace you. That's the reason why they're fighting so hard against the SAVE Act. That's the reason why they're fighting so hard against any sort of anything that has to do with holy shit, that's getting nervous. With voter ID. Can you guys hear that shit? Like it's echoing over my headset. I don't know if I have enough time to play the other one for this. Yeah, sure we do. It's the Hawaiian thing. hell no. Yeah, you heard that, right? Yeah, it's storming like a motherfucker here. Okay, well, let's push the button so I can try and ignore that.
Trump administration was claiming that this building was, quote, filled with Tren de Aragua gang members and said that they captured 2 confirmed gang members. Stephen Miller claimed that it was, quote, one of the most successful law enforcement operations we've seen in the country. And yet, a month and a half later, prosecutors have not filed a single criminal charge against anyone who was arrested, nor have they revealed any evidence that showed that anyone actually belonged to a gang.
Not true.
In fact, many of those that were arrested in the raid were granted voluntary departure, and that would not have happened if they were a serious threat. For any federal agents who are watching this, remember that you swore an oath to support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Yeah, and you're the fucking domestic.
This conduct that we're seeing does not hold up with that oath.
Yes, it does, actually, because, you know, this is the most scrutinized administration in the country's history because of fucking idiots like you. And so far, you guys haven't been able to do anything to it, so that tells you something.
And we are going to hold you accountable.
I'd like to remind the committee that administrative removal is already on the books right now. All this law does is simply expand the categories under which an illegal alien can be deportable via administrative removal. In fact, administrative removal was used 13,000 times by President Obama, over 12,000 times under President Biden. Were those deportations a violation of due process?
Would the gentleman yield?
And no, I will not. And if we want to talk about due process, as my colleagues would like to, where was the due process for Rachel Morin, who was slaughtered by an illegal alien? Where was the due process for Kayla Hamilton, who was slaughtered by an illegal alien? What about Laken Riley or Jocelyn Nungary? Where was the due process for them? Where was the outrage when the last administration ushered into our communities Tren de Aragua gang members, MS-13 cartel members, and terrorists from around the world? I think that the American people can see that Democrats reserve their tears for illegal aliens who break our laws and victimize our communities. But if we want to talk about due process, let's talk about due process. Federal courts of appeals have routinely upheld this law's administrative removal procedures as they have existed for the last 30 years. In fact, every federal court of appeals to consider the constitutionality of the expedited removal procedures under Section 238 of the Immigration and Nationality Act has held that the statute comports with due process. Nearly 3 decades ago, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Fifth Circuit held that, quote, clearly the expedited statutory deportation scheme comports with the minimum requirements of due process pronounced by the Supreme Court. The Fifth Circuit outlined the due process requirements, quote, that an alien be provided notice of the charges against him, a hearing before an executive or administrative tribunal, and a fair opportunity to be heard, end quote, all of which this statute satisfies and did satisfy. As recently as this past July, the Fifth Circuit reiterated that holding, as have the U.S. Courts of Appeals for the 4th, 6th, 9th, 10th, and 11th Circuits. Democrats' fear-mongering contradicts the law, contravenes the text of the bill, and undermines efforts to ensure that dangerous illegal aliens can be quickly removed from the United States.
Remember, we already had a long talk about rhetoric and how it got 2 people killed already. Well, the rhetoric definitely didn't help. But this seems to be the only thing that they know, and this is the only thing that they're going to continue to do, because there's no purpose outside of political grandstanding of what they're doing. I mean, tell me different. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, obviously she's out of her damn mind, but do you think he did a good job with a retort? I mean, I think he did a wonderful job. As did everybody else that I listened to. That was the only one that I happened to pick up, other than, you know, the propaganda minister Jeffries. Yeah, it's going like hell outside. I've heard the microphone pick it up several times now. And again, mentioning Canada, unfortunately, Dennis is going through this too. Same thing. Only it might actually be worse. They're allowing anybody in there, don't care. And they're like, you know what? We're going to give you as much as we possibly can too because you're here. To hell with the people that live here. Well, the Democrats fool a lot of American folk by saying they stand for them, but who they really stand for is any other people who are not American or minorities of people with no country. Right. And you're right about the questionable causes thing, too. He had to go bark at a leaf. All right, let's get the outro up. And unfortunately, I got to get out and drive this shit again. Oops. There we go. And all set up. All right, guys. I am going to get out of here for the night. I am absolutely exhausted. I've got about 6 days to complete a major fabrication project and wet sand and buff and clean and do a lot of other things among all the other stuff that I'm doing. So I'm going to get out of here for the night. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us. Us being me and the rest of the people, because it's just me over here, but it's you over there. To be making it, so you understand why I said that. All 5 of you. Anyhow, I'm going to get out of here tonight. Thank you very much, guys. And I will see you later. I will send that stuff to you guys in an email. Make sure you see it before the month is over. See ya.
We spend our lives left out in the rain as you stand dry behind the window pane. You'll try to understand us, you have no clue. So I took a bat and I broke the glass. You're existing but you have no class. Never been first but we're built to last and we're not afraid of you. Born to make you uncomfortable. Our hate is unconditional. Coexistence is impossible and we're coming for you. With a black flag covering the religion of truth. Raise a black flag, pledge allegiance to our roots. With a black flag coming demolition crew. You can see on me and I'll be back on you. You spend your life sheltered in the shade. We stood in the ruins as the fires blaze. You tried to dull our shine, but we refused. So I took a knife and I made the cut. $1 million smile that you can't stitch up. You're the diamond and we're the rust. Shook it with your silver spoon. We're cussed again, we're flammable. We're feral motherfucking animals. Our fists are up, we're unstoppable, and we got it, yeah, for yeah.